Okay, guys. Made a few more changes and did some cleaning. We did do 3 test streams today. Just trying to get things working. Like I said, I've kind of been cheating for a while. I've been using the wing rack, and then basically, as far as cheating, what I've been doing, I've been coming out of one of the outputs of the wing, and I've been going into the AG08 Yamaha and using the interface in the Yamaha. And the whole purpose in getting the wing was to eliminate a lot of stuff. So after we did the last little stream earlier today, 100% of everything in the rack now is unplugged. Everything that you're going to hear is 100% wing rack. There are no secondary devices powered. Let me see if we can go to that screen. You really can't see it, but the rack is right there. And you'll see one red light on at the very top. That is my power conditioner. Okay. I don't know. Maybe you can actually see it. Right there behind that mic, you'll see some white lettering that says PF Group. That's a power distribution block. So the power conditioner has 2 main outputs, okay? It has 2 groups that are broken up to where it isolates the ground. That one is plugged into the one isolated unit, and then the other group, I have an extension coming over, and it's powering the wing and some other things. So I tried to separate the power from the computer, and all the USB type devices are separated as well as I can, if that makes sense. So I did do that. I made some other changes. We still have a popping noise that comes in occasionally, but I'm going to work through it each week. You can see I did not have time to adjust the lights. Give me 1 second, because that is kind of blinding. Now, of course, I'm dark. That's a little better. We like a little darkness. In reality, it seems to be doing much better. I have yet to hear it do a pop and a crack. So it might be something as simple. I hadn't run the wing rack on a power conditioner. Okay, and this isn't, a lot of people say, oh, I have a power conditioner. Well, what they have is a surge protector, okay, and it has a lot of outlets on it. It's like a really heavy-duty surge protector. This is an actual power conditioner. It has huge caps in it, and what those caps do is it stores electricity, okay? So if the voltage drops, those caps will discharge, and it keeps the voltage exactly at 115 volts. Now, that's what I have it set at. They made changes in your current coming into your house. It used to be 110, 220, and that's a good way of telling if it's an old school electrician or if he's new. If he says 220 and 110, he's an old school electrician. They made that change about, I'm going to guess 20, 25 years ago. They bumped the line voltage up so they could put more separation between the transformers. So now coming in, it should be 120. Anytime you have a low voltage, 120, that's low voltage. The further the distance is on that piece of cable, the voltage starts to drop. So that's why in the UK, it's all 220, 240. I think they actually use 240 over there. The higher voltage doesn't drop. So what this unit does is it sees an input voltage and it bleeds it off to 115 after the capacitors are charged. If it drops below 115, those capacitors throw a little juice to the current and it stabilizes it. It does a pretty good job. There's a little meter on it, and it's trying to keep it at about 115, and there's a filter on it. and it has 2 separate ground isolated plugs on it. It was very expensive. That's why I only have one. I think that one was about $800 back when I bought it, and I think they're about $1,200 now. They're quite expensive. So it could have been that issue too, because now the wing rack is actually hooked up to the power conditioner. You know, guys, I didn't take the time to really, been working on it slowly, and I finally got everything consolidated down enough to where, okay, it's not a lot of stuff. Let me just go ahead and disconnect everything in the rack and reroute my power and get things semi-close. It seems to be doing pretty good. I don't know what you guys think, if it sounds any better than our normal, when we streamed earlier today. I'm not hearing the reverb, and the reason I go over this is if someone's watching this stream that has a wing rack, and they watch the other streams and the other streams, and they're a member of our Discord, they're going to see what you all posted. And now I'm going to tell you all what I did. So isolating the power on the wing to the conditioner was one thing I did. Eliminating anything that wasn't working back there is another thing I did. And then I had a routing issue. Now that I no longer have the AG08, the AG08 had 2 headphone inputs with individual monitor sends. Now I'm going to miss that. I know I can do it. What I have to do is I have to do a secondary send on Linnell's microphone and my microphone. So when it comes to the faders, with the wing rack, you can send that signal anywhere, but you got to tell it where it needs to go. So right now that signal goes to the mains. There is no subgroup. There's no matrix. It comes right out of that channel to the mains. I have 4 spots that I can send it. Okay. So what I need to do is to send my mic and her headphones and my headphones to a subgroup. Okay. That output going to that subgroup, I can change mine and hers. And that's how I can change the output that we're going to hear on our headphones. I can just decrease the send on my channel and increase the send on hers, vice versa. When it goes to that subgroup, then I can send that subgroup to the headphone outputs. Okay, does that kind of make sense? Right now, I'm sending the outputs from the main to the headphone out. And I do have a separate control right here. So I can increase our headphone volume without influencing the mix.
You're trying to make me go deaf.
Yeah, I just turned it up order. And she's not used to it being that loud because I always kept hers down a little bit with the AG08. What do I think? I think I need to learn. Music is a learning thing, especially when we go from a certain type of equipment to a new type of equipment. I'm learning, and I do believe that this is far better than what we had. The way she can mute you for her, she can't mute me. If she could mute me, she'd be muting me all the time. Sometimes I think I crossed the line. But you know what sucks, guys? Right before the stream, she has a little button that she's supposed to be able to hit. And when we tested her mic, when she hit the button, it just carried on. I'm like, well, what in the world? We just bought that. So I unplugged it and ran the cable right to her mic. No hum. So tomorrow, I'm going to be testing that thing, and if it is already broke, that's going to suck.
I'm going to have button withdrawals.
Have we had that 4 weeks yet, hon?
Yeah, I think it's been a little longer than that.
Yeah, I'm going to have to reach out to Sweetwater. It seems like it's in the switch, and that kind of sucks because it was working good. I was going to buy one and put on the floor So when I play guitar, all I'd have to do is push on the button. Because as I'm playing guitar, this microphone is really sensitive. So as I play, I'm going to mute the channel on the guitar. So as I play, it's just loud enough to where the gate on this mic just starts carrying on and doing weird things. So I think a lot of that weird artifact sound I've been getting is from this microphone. I can turn the gate up even more, but if I keep turning the gate up too much, it starts cutting me off a little bit. You can hear it right now. There's like a hard knee to it. Attack. Now, it can only be so fast. It has to wait till it sees a signal to turn on and off. If the more I turn this back like that, I don't know, maybe that's better like that. It's just, it starts to sound funny when it's up that high. And I still hear it in the headphones. Now, honey, I'm gonna blow your eardrums out. I'm gonna turn up the headphone amplifier.
Oh my.
Wow, that's loud. You hear it? We shouldn't hear the clicking in our headphones if the gate was working.
I won't be able to hear anything when you're done.
Oh, so I don't think there's going to be any way to get around that. The mic is just so close to the guitar because I'm sitting down. So I was thinking about getting one of the buttons, and I actually was going to call Sweetwater today and go ahead and just order one. And then I'm like, no, I'll go ahead and pick up my layaway, which is right there. And then when we went to do the stream, hopefully there's a little switch on the back. Hopefully that switch has just been bumped because we set her mic up each week and run the cables in, hook everything up. So hopefully it's something simple. The Sweetwater I've never had a problem with. If they look at my account and see that I just ordered that, I would imagine that they're going to make it right and send me another one. If the second one fails, I will let you guys know. That was that Ross made in the USA. Rolls switch, made in the USA. Supposedly a well-crafted switch. I mean, when she would push it, there was no static, no nothing. But now when she pushes it, it just makes a heck of a racket and a noise. So I'm not overly sure what's going on with that. I do want to test the guitar. So let's do a test on the guitar because tonight is test night. Let me tune up. This is an Ibanez RGA, and I have done nothing with the fretwork on this guitar. It's all stock. I did put new pickups in it and change the caps. These pickups are made by Guitar Heads, and these are the Hexbuckers. $60 for these pickups, and they're pretty nice pickups. And before anyone says anything, I already know the output is not near high enough. So let's turn up the gain a little bit. So that is our guitar tone. Yeah, Billy, I like these pickups. I mean, if you're looking for budget pickups, check out Guitar Heads. You can get them on eBay and they have a reverb store as well. These are a little hotter. I like the Z-Buckers too. They're not quite as hot as these. It's a trade-off. I like the harmonic bite that these have. The Z-Buckers still have that, but they're a little smoother sounding. So it up to you. I think they have a very similar sound. If you want to hear the Z-Buckers, to go back and watch the FFST White Ash video that we did for when Jupe sent the guitar that went to Devastator's daughter. We put Z-Buckers in that guitar, and I thought they sounded really good. Again, the set of those, the Z-Buckers were 55 and these were 60.
Grace and Gabriel are both in the chat.
Ooh, thank you. So she can actually tell you what she thinks of the pickups. She's in the chat. Where's she at? Is she in there?
Yeah.
Oh, yep, I see Gabriel's in there. Blue Mox.
Tigger Mommy.
Oh, man, we got everybody in here tonight. It's good to see everybody. Searching for Tone. Brian's in here. Billy, Backwoods Billy. Renee's in here. Good to see Renee. Oh, my gosh. Yep, I see it. Gracie, there she is. Okay. Hey, that's good. We're going to go from 2.5 women up to about 3% of the women audience.
Jupe said,
Oh, we got a super chat from Niles too. Now, see, Niles, nothing against you, buddy, but I can't do the clappy thing because the clappy button was in the AG08. So,
Jupe said, Avery, I found a way for the channel to take off. You need to dreadlock up your look and get Linnell on camera as duo like the mamas and papas. In this case, mama and papa.
I don't have to. Everyone just go over to Discord. There's a picture of me with dreadlocks. I think this is pretty good. I need to go back and listen to the stream. I did make some adjustments on this as well. And I always go back and listen to the stream and see how it translates over to YouTube. So I thought it was a little too bitey, so we took some gain out of the guitar. It's too late, Niles. You've got it. And penicillin's not going to fix it. You guys tell me if that's too bitey, too sharp, but it still has the ability to get the harmonics that I like. I'm not overly happy with I know this guitar is cleaner sounding than that, so it's something in the line 6 it's still kind of flubby and overly distorted on the lower notes. But it's not too bad.
Do you try other tunings like 432 hertz and stuff?
You know, I really need to do more of that. I never did anything other than 440 a half step down. That's all I used to. That was my alternative tuning. I do some drop D when I'm just goofing off, and I know 440 is not a good. It's not. If you look at like what scientists say and stuff, what's pleasing to the ear, 440 isn't a good ratio. And I hear different frequencies that you turn to will change the mood of the song. And I just never really played around too much with that kind of stuff. It's difficult for me. I used to be able to, and I'm not saying that I dislike what I'm doing now. That's not where I'm going with this. I used to have more time just to sit down and go, I want to learn this song. I'd like to learn this song. I'd like to work on scales. I've never been much on learning other people's music. Everything I ever learned was just for the band. You know, okay, we're going to play these songs, learn them. And I'd learn them. And then if the song wasn't played, you know, in 3 or 4 months, most likely I forgot it. That was my major drawback when I was playing out live, was retention. And it was so bad that it could be a song that we played every weekend that was that popular. And the songs would usually last 6 or 7 months. You know, you could get 6 months out of a song before it phased out and the group wanted to hear something, you know, that was on the radio that was really popular then. I'd show up for practice and it's like, how'd that song go? I was bad for that. You know, being a professional musician, playing the guitar and stuff like that, I think it's like secondary, because you got to be able to play, you got to remember, you have to have good showmanship. It's a whole package. And the old saying is, you know, there's 2 ways you can look at it. I didn't have it, which I didn't. And the next thing is, I wasn't at the right place at the right time.
Gracie said, my father-in-law is in love with my guitar, so I'm going to try to opt in the giveaway to get him a guitar for Father's Day.
Ooh. You're going to opt in on this giveaway because it's a Gretsch.
I think she already did.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that Gretsch will be awesome. Now, I'm telling you, if he wins, it's a free guitar. I'll work something out with you, and if you want, really that guitar needs nothing. But if you want to do an upgrade to it, you let me know, and I'll do the work for free, and that goes to anybody. If you win the guitar and you want to put your pickups in it, you just send me your pickups and I'll put the pickups on it. But in reality, the guitar in its stock form is actually really freaking good. It's way better than it has any right being at a $319 guitar. Gretsch knocked it out of the park with that particular guitar. I know Brian was just doing a review. He got a stupid deal on that Sterling at $199 because we looked it up and it's going for like, what was it, $347?
Something, or $349.
$349, and he got it for $199. You know, Sterling makes good stuff.
I don't know. Was it that one or was it the one for $249? I don't know.
I think it was $349.
Because
and he got, I'm assuming that was the stupid deal of the day type thing that he got it on. Yeah, he was in the chat. Maybe he can answer it.
Gracie said stock is perfectly fine.
Yeah, the stock pickups are fine in that guitar. They really are.
Cool.
I'm just throwing it out. If someone else wins the guitar, I think the major weak link in that guitar, and the tuning keys feel smooth. I would put a higher ratio tuning key in it, like an 18-to-1. It's probably like a 15-to-1 tuning key on the guitar. But they feel really smooth. It's just if you barely tune it and you're on a sensitive tuner, it's really hard to get it perfect because it's like a 15-to-1 tuner. But they feel smooth. So whoever wins that guitar, really the only thing I would do if you do anything to it, put some nice 18 or 20-to-1 tuners on it and go out and just smash that guitar on stage. That would be the perfect guitar. Yeah, Steve found that for you. I thought you said that in the video that I was watching, that Steve had found it.
Cole is in the chat.
Ooh, I see Cole is in the chat. That means he's good. If everyone doesn't know, Cole lives in Israel. So it's good to see that Israel is doing good. Cole's still here. We pray for you each week, man. Trust me. We have a lot of people that come in the stream from different areas. Cole was from Israel, so it's always good to hear from him. Good to see you too, my friends. Yeah, you're man, you're the dude, man. We count on Cole for Israel updates. So, if you don't know already, we're doing a Gretsch giveaway. All you have to be is publicly subscribed to the channel. There is a difference. Publicly subscribed to the channel means when I go to my subscriber list, I can physically see you in that list. And there is a setting in your homepage on your YouTube that you can say it's publicly subscribed. People will know when you subscribe to them. You do have to be publicly subscribed just to verify, so we can verify you are subscribed. Then you go over to Discord, go in the guitar giveaway room, and say, I want to be entered in to win the Gretsch. And that's it. It's free. There's no cost to get in it. Now, that being said, I'm going to let you guys vote. I think I want to do a little bit better guitar giveaway. But it's hard. This channel doesn't make much money. So it's hard for me to buy a $600 or $700 guitar to give away. If you guys are interested in it, we can do a raffle. And when enough tickets get sold to pay for the guitar, we can do something like that. And it would be a $600, $700 guitar.
What kind of Telecaster is that in the back?
That is a Fender Standard. That is a awesome guitar. If you want more information on the Fender Standard, we did a review on that guitar about a month and a half ago. It is a 2026 model, and Fender made a lot of changes on the standard models in 2026. So if you played a 2025, you might want to go check a new one out. We did a review on a 2025, and the pickups were really noisy. There was no shielding paint in it. It had some so-so fretwork on the sides. It was okay. Not okay for $599. Okay. The only thing I dislike about this, Fender listened and they fixed. The fretwork on this guitar is far better this year. So Fender must have got a hold of Cortex and said, look, we need to up our ante a little bit on this guitar. It didn't go over too well.
Wicked Fester said, I had the same Sterling as Brian. I got on sale for $199. I traded it to Guitar Center. They gave me $180 and priced it at $300 used.
Yeah, how can you beat that? When you can find deals like that, you're not going to take a bath when you go to resell it. You know, the budget guitars, you take more of a bath on. You can ask me how I know. We've bought a lot of budget guitars here, and I've had to flip them. Budget guitars are hard to resell. Even name brands, you're going to lose at bare minimum a third, and that's if you sell it yourself. Usually 50%. I hate to say that. It's a hard market. Like Nags and some of the Nags makes a great guitar. They just have a horrible resale value. It's not just Nags, Kiesel. And I love Kiesel, but Kiesel has a horrible resale value. Is a Nags and a Kiesel a horrible guitar? What justifies that horrible resale value? I don't, guys, I can't explain it. I'm just telling you, Kiesel makes a good guitar. Nags makes a good guitar. But if you buy one and you go to sell it, you're going to take a bath. You're going to take a bath on all of them. But the Kiesel and the Nags, probably more so than a Fender and a Gibson. And what's sad is, odds are that Kiesel and that Nags are going to be far superior to the Gibson and the Fender as far as play, general build construction. But it's got, you hate to say it, but it says Fender and it says Gibson. And there's someone out there that recognizes the name and they just sell better. Is that always going to be the case? I think Fender's really ever since COVID, Fender has really screwed the pooch on their instruments. In 2025, the standards come out and they were noisy, no shielding paint, the horrible fretwork. Like I said, they went to Cortex and said, look, we need to do a better instrument. It would have been nice if they could have held the $599 price point, but they didn't. So the guitar went up to 670. It's like 679, I think it is. But now it has full shielding paint, full size alpha pots. Now they did put a box switch in this one. And I know it's a box switch. Name an Ibanez or a Jackson or anything at 700 and under that has a CRL switch. It's not there. It's going to be a box switch. So let's get that out of the way before someone's, I got a damn box switch in my Fender. It's at that price point. It's going to have a box switch. So I'm okay with it. But they did put nice alpha pots in it. The jack is really good. It's fully shielded. Nice. Decent pickups. Now, I know you guys were like, oh, the pickups aren't too good. I don't think the pickups are that horrible in it. I really don't. I think it's a Telecaster. They're not humbuckers. They still have a little twang to them, but they also got a little kick in them. They're ceramic. I don't have an issue with ceramic pickups. These are ceramics. I like ceramic pickups. Some of my favorite guitars have ceramic pickups in them. The big thing is now is Alnico. So I've heard crappy Alnicos too. I've heard crappy Alnico 2s, crappy Alnico 5s. I've heard crappy ceramics. The magnet has no bearing on whether or not it's a good pickup. It's how it's manufactured. Did they use quality magnets? Did they use quality bobbins? Is it wound properly? Is it good wire? Or is it a mixed wire where they've diluted the copper down and put, some other type material in it to make it cheaper? There's so many different things. How much charge did they put in it when they put it in the magnetizer? So before someone says ceramics suck, just play a good ceramic. There are good ceramic pickups out there, just like there's good Alnico pickups out there. There's good P90s out there, and there's also crappy P90s out there. There's just like single coils. I hear some single coils, man, it's like, wow, it's a match made in heaven. And then I listen to another single coil, it's kind of like, eh. And I say that because we just reviewed a Court guitar. I'm telling you guys, the 2 single coils in that guitar were stupid nice. I don't know how it translated to YouTube, but whatever Magic Fairy Dust Court did, that humbucker had a lot of punch and kick. But when you switched it to the second position and added that single coil in the center, it immediately got a little quacky and smooth sounding, all at the same time.
Shendo Music liked it too.
Yeah, I went back to Shendo because they hadn't played it yet. That was an untouched guitar. I did verify that with Brian today. Shout out to Brian at Shenandoah Music. Awesome guitar tech, guys. If you're in the Shenandoah Valley, hit Shenandoah Music up, go in, have Brian set your guitar up, or just drop your guitar off. He's the only guy I will let touch my guitars. He's a hell of a tech. Well, I asked Brian today, I said, dude, did you screw with this guitar? And he goes, no, I didn't have a chance to work on that one. So that was the setup out of the box. And Brian showed me some things today on the guitar that he felt needed adjusting. And I 100% agree with him when he was checking the spacing up here. Even though the first fretted note was very close on that guitar, he showed me that there was quite a bit of room that the nut could be filed down from the high E all the way up to the low E. Now, the low E was extremely close, and then it got a little further off as it went down. And he showed me a new tool that he picked up, and I thought the new tool was cool. It clamps onto the headstock, and it's got a little gauge, and you can press on the string, and it tells you how much deflection's there. Gives you spot on accurate measurements. Thought that was cool. Spoke to Brian for like 30 minutes. I love talking to that guy. Anybody like that, when they say something, I'll listen to them. I'm like, I don't have to agree with them. There's things Brian does or thinks that I don't necessarily agree with. And I'm sure there's things that I do and Brian's kind of like, nah, I can't do that, or that's not going to work. That's fine. Does that make sense? But when he talks and he's showing me, hey, this guy in Nashville showed me this because he's been around. He's a good tech. He's like, he showed me this, and this is the concept behind it. I'm like, I like that. And then he showed me another average system that I hadn't thought about doing a 3-fret where you're checking your spacing off the fret from your open to your first and second fret, and double checking how much play there is. Of course, it's going to increase just a little bit as you go down the fretboard, but he was showing me how he does that when he sets a guitar up that way. And I'm like, I never thought about going to the next fret and then checking my spacing on my rise. How much play is there on the next fret from the bottom of the string when I tap it? When I move it up one more, how much space is there? When I move it up again, how much space is there? You know, he was just showing me 3, going up 3 and averaging the 3. I thought that was cool. I'm like, hey, I never thought about that. You know, I'm always checking the first. Well, the first isn't always the most important because we know this is a straight fretted guitar. So it's not going to be perfect in any location. Does that kind of make sense? So if it's close here, I'm like, okay, it's close. Sometimes some guys want an average of, I want 6 flats and 6 sharps. That doesn't mean that your 12th is going to be perfectly intonated to your open. It really, you know, Brian gets it and he listens to you. You know, he set when I bought my Fender FMT, he set that guitar up for me and he asked me, he goes, you know, how much relief do you like? You know, do you pick hard? He asked all the right questions. And I'm like, just do what you normally do. Make sure the frets are nice, touch up my frets, do me a good setup. I picked up the guitar, didn't have to do anything to it. Brought it home, I've been jamming on it ever since. There's value to that. You know, if I order a guitar at Sweetwater, oh, it went through a 60-point inspection. That dude is not recutting that nut, okay? He's not going through and he's not averaging my intonation. He's not checking the string height right here, you know, and getting it perfect and then going up and checking how much space there is on that first fret and second fret on the fretting, checking the open note, checking the first fretted note. They're not doing all that. They're not going through, oh, well, there's a couple frets right here I can touch up. They're not doing that. But when you go to a store like that and they have a tech like that, he's doing basic stuff on the stuff that goes out to the floor. But he'll do more. And I didn't have any issue. I forget what he charged me to set the guitar up, but it's more than a setup. He's going through and he's double checking the guitar. He's making sure it's right. So I don't have an issue paying for that. And people are like, well, why didn't you do it yourself? I could have. But sometimes, man, you just want to go in and get something. And I don't want to say it runs it, but if I have to buy an instrument and then turn around and set it up, put pickups in it, and do this to it, when it's all said and done, it's kind of like, you know, sometimes you just want to go into the store, you find a guitar that you feel fits you and has a good feel, and you know it can be just better. If someone listened to you and said, okay, this is how I play, please set the instrument up this way for my playing. And that's what he did. And it's an awesome guitar.
Devastator said Sweetwater gets products back with issues and just relist them as new. We've seen it firsthand.
Yes, we have, Mr. Devastator. They did that to this channel. Sweetwater, you know, sent us a bum product, and I didn't feel the guitar was worth $1,500. It had a lot of issues. But they did take the guitar back. The issue that I had was they put it back on the website as new. And I think a lot of the subscribers here called into Sweetwater saying, hey, we know that model number. That guitar was on Music and Gear. It is not new. He found issues with it. And it was up for 3 or 4 days. And they did eventually take it down. And it was gone for about 2 weeks. Then when it reappeared, it come up as open box. So should that have happened? Absolutely not. Did Sweetwater make it right on their end? Yes, they did. Did Sweetwater treat me right? Yes, they did. They sent that guitar to me free of charge. They allowed me to send it back to them with no shipping fee. And they sold me a guitar that was $150 more expensive than the guitar I purchased and still sent it to me for free. So that's shipping 3 times plus a $150 discount on a guitar to make me happy, keep me happy. I don't think I could ask for any more than that. They did what I feel a company should do if they want to earn your business, and they did. I just think they did wrong when that guitar come back and they put it back up as new. But like I said, they did correct it. So I get what you all mean. They did fix it, and they treated me right as the customer. The drawback is, if you guys wouldn't have called in, somebody else would have bought that guitar, under the assumption that it was brand new. And it wasn't. It had already been shipped out, sold, been here for 2 weeks, done a review on and played, and then shipped back. That's no longer a new instrument, okay? You could sell it as B stock, you could sell it as open box, you can sell it as scratch and dent, there's 50,000 different ways. They listed it as open box, and they did put the little arrows in certain things. They did not show the ding in the fret, but they took new photos, and the new photos didn't show the ding. So I don't know if they didn't take that into the shop and do some fret work on it and then relist it, but it still had the blemished pickups. It still had the chip right here in the pocket where the plug went in. But they listed it as open box, and I think that was 150 off. So it was like $1,350. Would I buy the guitar at $1,350? No. With what I saw on the guitar, I'd say $1,299 would be the maximum. They would have to do $200 off on that product for me. With what I saw. Everyone's different. Someone must have thought that was a good deal because it was only up for maybe a week and it sold. At that point, I think it's fine. Whoever bought it knew there were some problems. They were willing to pay Sweetwater X for that guitar, with those problems. So I haven't seen it come back, and believe me, I did pay attention to that. I was going to make sure because I wrote the serial number down. I wanted to see if it got returned again. So it never came back. So that's a good thing. I'm trying to see. We got a lot going on, guys. I see the chat's moving. That's great, guys. When the chat moves like that, it really pushes our content out for new people to come in. If you're new here, you do not have to be a subscriber to chat. I want you to come in, hang out, and chat. Your point of view is what makes this channel what it is. I am just a facilitator. That's my cell phone. Somebody wants to talk to me. I'm just a facilitator here. We review guitars. We go over problems with new equipment. There's always problems, whether it's you learning how to use the equipment or technical problems or updates. It could be anything. I share what I go through as doing YouTube now, okay, and the problems that I've run into with equipment. And the main reason the channel was started was to review guitars, to offset the constant, all this budget guitars better than a Fender. There's pros and cons to each way you want to look at it. I think budget guitars are great. I love budget guitars, but I also like medium price. Well, this is a little bit above a budget guitar. I like this. This is my favorite guitar I own. Okay. Is it my best playing guitar? Absolutely not. But I like playing it the most. Why? I don't care about it. I can beat the snot out of this thing, and if I dent it, I don't care. That is liberating. Believe me, if you've got a $3,000 guitar, when I put it on my lap, I'm like, I don't want to scratch it. I don't want to scratch it. I don't want to scratch it. Even my Schecter, it's $1,600 guitar. I'm like, I don't want to scratch it. This thing, I've got about $530 in it. That's a cheap guitar in today's market. That's a cheap guitar. And I'm not worried about if I put a scratch on it. Maybe that's, everyone has a price point that they're comfortable spending, whether it's 400, 300, 500, 800. Yeah, let's say it's $3,000. It doesn't matter. That's your comfort zone. You're going to find you're going to gravitate towards that price zone. You know, occasionally you'll step out, like I did, stepped out and bought a little bit more expensive guitar. But for the most part, most of my guitars that I own, they're between 450 and 700 bucks. That seems to be my sweet spot. So I try to find a guitar that fits me, that I like the way it plays, and, you know, it has a decent sound at that price point. Okay? That doesn't mean that I haven't found budget instruments at 200, 250 bucks that didn't fit the bill. There's been one or two. The problem most of the time is I'll find one that plays good, and the pickups and the pots and stuff like that in the guitar are horrible. If I get one and it sounds good, then it has horrible fretwork or cheap tuners. The Leo James Monsoon. I love the way that guitar sounds with the stock Leo James pickups. But Leo James can't build a guitar neck worth of poop. I have yet to order one that has a decent neck. The fret work is just horrible. So if you buy a Leo James, just count on leveling frets. Count on not only leveling frets, getting all the frets down seated in the neck properly, then level the frets. They can't seem to get it right. Firefly, again, they're hit and miss. And I'm so far past the ball-in fret thing. I think it's such a novelty thing that the ball-in fret, I think, causes more problems than it solves, and you lose playing surface area. I don't care who tells you that you don't, but you do. Because that fret can't go all the way out to the edge of the fretboard. It's a ball-in fret. So they have to inset it a little bit, and then it's balled. Now, the ball and the chamfer is about the same. So you didn't lose any fret. You did, because they had to inset the fret a little bit. With a conventional fret, the fret goes all the way out to the outer edge. Some guitar manufacturers put more of a chamfer on it than others. You know, this, there's the fret goes all the way out, and you could see the tang where they filled it. So I have 100% fret. And the next thing, I can throw the string over the frets, and no matter what I do, it doesn't ever get hung up. The ball-in frets have a tendency of hanging up strings. And once your string hangs up 2 or 3 times, at usually exact same spot, that E string is going to break because it nicks that string, and now you're screwed. So can you get them right? Sure. You can tap them down, put some CA glue around them. The drawback is that's stuff that you have to do. So there's a reason why the guitar is at that price point. If the guitar was better and can warrant more money, believe me, they would sell it for more money. If you own a company and you build a product and people are willing to pay you $1,000 for it, why would you sell it for $300? Are you stupid? No. You're going to sell it for the maximum amount that those people are willing to pay for it. And that's what Firefly's done. Look in the last 4 years. Firefly went from $150 to a $220 guitar. Now everything is in the mid 200s to low 300s plus shipping. They keep pushing it and pushing it and pushing it. They're pushing that price point. They've pushed it to the point where now Ibanez makes a guitar for $400 with the pickups I don't like, okay? But it does have a floating bridge. It's a $400 guitar. The bridge stays in tune. I've yet to play a Firefly with a floating bridge that stays in tune. I've got a George Lynch model downstairs that I'm fixing for Renee right now. He wants to buy that guitar. It needs a bridge. So I paid, the guitar with shipping was $325. The bridge was $130. Well, you're already past the Ibanez price. Does that kind of make sense? So can you make them work? Yes, you can. It's just, which way do you want to go? Either way, I think you're going to spend the same amount of money on the instrument once it's right. And for those that say, well, I do the work myself, you can't look at it as you're free. Your time is worth something. Now, if you enjoy it, I get it, but don't discount your time. Your time is worth something. So if Firefly keeps pushing it, if it gets to 350, the guitar needs to be a $350 guitar. And before anyone says anything, I get it. It's a $250 to $300 guitar. You pull it out of the box, it's amazing that the darn thing even plays, okay? It's a $300 guitar. It's a $200 guitar. It's amazing that it even plays. But that being said, there's a lot of guitar companies out there making guitars between 200 and 350 bucks. Some better than others.
What about Bigsby? I'm looking at Gretsch as my next guitar.
A Bigsby is a great tremolo for what it is. It's not a locking tremolo, and there's a lot of moving parts. So just keep in mind it's a Bigsby, and when you move it, do more flutters with it. Don't do dive bombs and stuff like that. It's more of a, just doing slight vibrato with, okay? Moving the strings just a little bit, and you'll love it. Now, some people complain putting strings on the Bigsby is kind of a pain in the butt. I don't think it's horrible. Some people complain that putting strings on a Floyd Rose is horrible. Again, I don't think that's horrible either. If you don't like putting strings on a Floyd Rose, you're probably not going to like putting strings on a Bigsby because it's got to go over the roller, and then, it's a little more complicated. But nothing sounds like a guitar with a Bigsby on it than a guitar with a Bigsby on it. If you want that sound that the Bigsby gives when you do the flutters, nothing sounds like that. That's why they still make guitars with the Bigsby on it, because none of the new stuff moves and actuates and flutters the way that does. It's like the Jazzmaster tremolo that's up underneath the bending plate. It has a certain sound and a certain feel. If you want that surf sound and that feel, that's it. You have to have that flex plate with the springs underneath it. It has a feel because it's the design of it. Do they feel the same? No. One's a jazz bass with a flexing plate. The other one's more of a cam bridge, okay, with rollers. That doesn't mean a Bigsby feels like a Kaler cam bridge. Completely different monster, completely different sound. So if you want one, man, don't let some YouTuber tell you that it's no good. They've been making them for years. And the old saying is you can get quality stuff, and then you can get stuff that isn't so good. Is that a jet?
It's the train.
Oh. We got a choo-choo train. I was like, that sounds like a jet. We're really close to DC, so sometimes we get incoming.
We're super close to the railroad track.
Yeah, we're very close to the railroad tracks. So if you want a Bigsby and you like that sound, just make sure it's a real Bigsby. There's a lot of clone stuff out there, and it's not going to be any good. Just buy decent stuff, especially something with so many moving parts. Bigsby has a lot of moving parts, and the tolerances need to be right. Just buy a nice one. They had a Falcon down at Shandor Music. That's a Gretsch. It has that big Bigsby on it. That Falcon was stupid.
Oh, they had that Wolfgang down there today, too.
Oh, yeah, they had a Wolfgang, too. But we were talking about the Bigsby.
I know.
I would look into the imported Falcon. It's made in Indonesia, I think, for Gretsch. I think it's like $1,500. It's got the foil pickups in it. That guitar is stupid. I picked that thing up. That guitar is stupid. It's $1,500, but it's stupid. The feel of the bridge and the way the guitar fits in you, that that's an awesome freaking guitar. I don't know if that's the kind of guitar that you're looking for, but I'm pretty sure it's considered. I think it's called the Falcon. The one they had was white. It was an awesome freaking guitar, but it was $14.99 for that guitar. The G5 420T, that's on my birthday list. Don't know that one. I'd have to look it up. But check out the Falcon, man. The Falcon would look like a really nice freaking guitar. And I don't know if it's just because now I'm getting a little older. I look at guitars now differently. You know, I just picked up a Telecaster. You know, everyone knows I'm a Super Strat guy. But this guitar is stupid. And, you know, if you guys aren't Fender fanboys, I get it.
How much was how much was the GTX, the amp?
We got that at basically $500.
I think it was.
It was like $489
Well,
plus tax.
yeah, but I think the actual price is like $539 or something.
Yeah, the actual price is $539, and this is the GTX 100. You can get the GTX 50, okay, for like $399, or no, it's $449. I wouldn't get that one because it doesn't come with the foot switch. Now, if you don't think you'd ever need the foot switch, it's no big deal. But the foot switch is $80. So it's twice as powerful. It's got a bigger speaker, and it comes with the foot switch. And they will work a deal with you. Trust me. Call Sweetwater or call Shenandoah Music if you live in the Shenandoah Valley. Ask for 10% off. They will sell you that amp at 10% off. I guarantee you. Okay? Comes with the foot switch. It's got a bunch of different models in it. It's got some really good sounds in it. It also has some pretty crappy sounds in it from the factory. Factory presets there's probably 25 or 30 great factory presets in it. You can program it. I sat down with it for about an hour, wrote a good like metal sound with it. So it's capable of doing it. The factory metal sounds sound a little scratchy from the factory on the ones that are pre-written. It has 200 presets, and I didn't find any of the high gain settings not to be scratchy from the factory. But it is capable of you programming one that's awesome, because I did it.
Does it have a jack for hookup to a speaker cab?
It does not have an external speaker jack. I'm pretty sure. Didn't we look at that once before?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, because we were going to hook it. If you look right there, I've got a Penta cabinet, the large PV cabinet, the one with the tan grill. We were going to hook it into that. And the only thing you could do is the wires going down to the speaker, pull the back cover off, okay? Take those wires off, solder them to a jack, drill a hole in the back, and then solder new wires from the speaker to a 1/4-inch jack and plug it in. Just make sure that you look at the ohm load of the factory speaker, and whatever speaker you plug into it, whether it's a 212, 412, or 112, make sure your ohm load is the same. Because since it's not set up with a jack, it's not going to tell you how far you can go down with it, whether it's 4 ohm, 3 ohm, 2 ohm. So if there's an 8 ohm speaker in it, I would make sure your cabinet is 8 ohm. If it's a 16 ohm speaker in it, make sure your cabinet is wired 16 ohm.
Why?
Don't push it.
Why 21 frets?
Why 21 frets? You know, Fender did 21 frets for years. So what on a lot of Fenders, you'll see they extend the fingerboard over top the neck to add that 22nd fret. You know, that was a common thing. You know, I've got a lot of 24 fret guitars. Okay. How often do I go down and play down there? When I'm goofing off, I do. But if I'm playing, very rarely do I pass the 22nd fret. This is a no BS channel, and that's no BS. How often do I go down to that 24th fret on this guitar? I mean, you guys watch me play. How often do you see me come down here and hit that note? I'm usually here. 22nd fret. That's about where I go. Now, I'm not the world's best guitar player. If you're a super shredder and you can get in there and you're that coordinated and you can strike that note efficiently between those frets, I get it. You like 24 frets. But stop and think, how often when you're playing, how often do you really play down there? A 21, 22 fret guitar is fine. I hate to say that because I like, I'll qualify it. Oh, it's 24 fret. But if I really stop and think about it, how often do I play down there? Don't let that hold you back. That's why I bought this. It's a slab body. There's no arm carve. There's no belly carve. There's no, it's a utilitarian guitar. But it's a Telecaster. That's what a Tele is. It sounds like a Tele, feels like a Tele, must be a Tele. And it's a Fender. Now, you could say it's a Court, okay? It's a Court Fender, Fender Court, whatever you want to call it. PRS, exact same thing. It's a Court. So before someone says, oh, well, it's Court, you're probably playing a Court and you don't even realize it. We just reviewed a Court guitar. Awesome freaking guitar. And that brings me back. Let me know if you guys want to do a raffle on a more expensive guitar, because I think there's a couple different models getting ready to, I think it would be kind of stupid not to give someone the opportunity. Let's say we do $25 buy-in, okay, for a $600 or $700 guitar. It wouldn't take that many entries. Now, on a $600 guitar, by the time I box it and send it to you, shipping's probably going to be 100, 110 worst case scenario. So we'd have to sell enough tickets to at least, at a $600 guitar, get 700 to cover the cost of shipping and the price of the guitar and taxes. If you guys are interested in doing something like that, we can up the ante a little bit on the giveaway guitars, but we would have to do a buy-in. There's no way I can give away a $600 guitar every 2 months. Does that kind of make sense, guys? So if you are interested, we can still do the regular giveaway guitar, okay? But if you guys want to have another giveaway where if you buy in, you're on the wheel, but you got to buy in to be on the wheel, if that makes sense. I'm not going to say it'd be for the select. If you want, you just pay X and you're on the wheel. And that just covers the cost of the guitar. And that would allow the channel to buy a more expensive guitar, if that makes sense. You guys let me know if you guys are interested in that. And if we did it that way, I'll let you guys come up with the price point. Okay, let's say there's 20 of you. 20 of you get together on Discord. You hash it out. What guitar are you going to buy? At that price point, you divide it up and see how many entries you have to have. If you want to do a $10 buy-in, that changes the entries. You want to do a $50 buy-in, that you need less entries. I will let you guys completely come up with the rules and the guitar that's ordered, if you guys want to do something like that. That to me, that would sound that sounds pretty cool, and that would open up the window on some different kinds of instruments. All right, guys, we're at the 1 hour and 6 minute mark. I don't know if Vox is in the group, but this is Vox break. So if you don't know, Vox plays ball with his dog during the break. It allows everyone to hit the restroom.
But I think tonight Vox is working overnight.
Oh, that's right. I just saw his name up here, though. A Tele? Yes, Vox. I bought a Tele.
Kurt said $100 entry in a $2,000 guitar.
Holy mackerel. If you guys want to do that, that's fine. But you'd still need 20 people at a $100 entry for a $2,000 guitar.
And Steve said just do the raffle payment outside of YouTube.
Yeah, we would. Because if we did it through YouTube, we would need to get even more. Because YouTube takes like a third. It's like 30%. It's insane. Oh, and you guys, if you don't know, and I don't know where it is, the Music and Gear store is up. Thanks for searching for Stone, searching for Tone. Brian sent me the link to this. Supposedly it is up, but if I go to the web, my main page, and I go under store, it says there's no store. So I don't know if I can get a link to it and I can post it, but I've got coffee cups up and a t-shirt and a hat that I've designed, and it's a really cool
Okay,
print.
I just clicked on store and all your stuff come up.
Oh, did it come up? It just took time. So go to the main page, click on store, and there's some cool items there. And just so you guys know, on a coffee cup, $3 of that goes to me. And I think it's $3 on a t-shirt too.
The only thing is there's 1, 2, 3, 4. Why does it get 5 pictures of coffee cups and 1 picture of a hat?
It's different size coffee cups.
Okay, that makes sense.
So I think there's 3 sizes of the white, 2 sizes of the black, and then a hat. There should be a shirt too, unless I didn't finish the shirt.
No, there's no shirt on here.
No shirt. So I didn't finish the shirt yet. But check out the logo on it. It's pretty cool. If you guys are interested, I know you guys said you wanted some merch. So I did take some time and work that stuff out. And no, I didn't do it fly by night. I've actually been working on that for the last 3 weeks. And I kept uploading images, and I wasn't happy with the graphics. And to get the graphics right, it allows 6 colors as the base, or unlimited colors, and it does charge more. But none of the graphics looked right under a 6-color base. So I did unlimited. So if you guys want a cheaper version, I think they were like $2 cheaper per unit on the lower color count. But it's not red. It gets an orange color, and it just doesn't look as good. Yeah, it's a it's a coffee cup.
The bigger one could be a cocoa cup.
The big one could be a cocoa cup, but the smaller one, I don't know. I drink a lot of coffee too, so yeah, check them out, guys, if you guys are interested in it. Like I said, I think on a coffee cup, I think it's $3 goes to me. And then I don't know if YouTube gets part of that $3 or not. Most likely YouTube would get part of that $3. So most of it's going to the manufacturer. I have nothing to do with it. When you place an order through them, they make it and send it directly to you. So if you guys do order something, please keep me posted. Let me know how long it takes you to get it. I'd be kind of curious, since I'm not buying the shirts myself like we did these and then sending them out. All right, guys, we're going to take our break. And when it's about 5 minutes long, so any new topics that you all want to go over, please put in the chat window. And when we come back, we'll make sure that we get right to those topics that you guys want to get to. All right, we're gonna do our break scene right now.
It's the bearded queen for your viewing pleasure.
Just so you know, inside joke. If you're in the know, you're in the know. How do they say it? You know you're successful when you have someone that does the things that that this particular person keeps doing. I don't know if he's bored or he has nothing better to do. But we find it extremely entertaining. When we saw the video today, it had 0 views, and I know 3 of the views were us. So I don't know how many it's at right now, but keep it up, man. That's all we got to say. There's a group that really enjoys it. It's you know, if I have a bad day at work, I know I can watch that content and get a charge out of it. Back to the Telecaster, guys. Yes, I did get a Telecaster, and I got some parts for it.
Billy said, wouldn't you be better off selling on a website versus YouTube channel?
Selling? I would, but everything costs. So if you're going to do a website, you have to have a domain name. That costs. Whether you do Wix or something like that, that costs. And then if you're going to sell, that means I have to purchase it, house it, and then ship it. I don't have to do any of that. Okay, now I'm not making hardly any money at all. I think it's like $3 on a cup, $3 on the shirt. I know. We did a small run of these shirts. It was $600, and we still have sizes that we can't give away. So if you wear a small and you're in the chat, reach out to me. I do have some smalls, and I think maybe 1 or 2 mediums left of this shirt. Very nice shirt. This shirt's probably 2 years old now and been washed 100 times. And you can tell it's not brand new. It's also a little bit of its color, but it's not coming apart. These were really, these were done by Uberprint. Okay, not cheap. Uberprint is expensive. And we were giving a shirt away. If you sent me the guitar and we did the fret work and fret leveling, we'd put a shirt in the box saying, you know, with a card, you know, thank you. But the large and extra large and 2XL sold. That extra large was the biggest, and it went out the fastest.
Devastator said Lori wears hers all the time.
Yeah, it's a good shirt. It's a good quality shirt, and they had a better shirt than this. That they claimed the fabric was a little nicer, a little softer, a little better stitching, but it was $3 more a shirt. And these were already at $600, so it was going to be like $1,000 for the better quality. And I'm like, you know what? We're just doing our first order. This shirt quality will be fine, and I'm glad I did. It seems to be a decent quality shirt. And the stencil, it is never, none of them are peeling off in any location. So kudos to Uberprint. It was a great shirt. My drawback is I can't front that kind of money. So if Uberprints ever hears this and you want to do something like Fourth Wall is doing, and I can do a link to your website, I actually like this shirt. So if you would make it and send it and then give me a kickback on it, you know, just like Fourth Wall is doing, I would have no issues with that. I just can't afford to spend $1,200, $1,300 on shirts and then have sizes just set like here. And I don't even know where that box is anymore, but I know there's some smalls in there and some mediums the last time I checked. So before someone reaches out, if you do have a small, I will look for them. I'm guarantee you there are some smalls in there. But back to the Fender. So I picked this up today, and we reviewed this guitar about 6 weeks ago, and I fell in love with it. And I gave everyone the opportunity to reach out to Shenandoah Music and purchase the guitar. I said this was a good one, and it is. This is a great guitar. But while I did it, I ordered, they had a pick guard. So I'm going to put this pick guard on it. I think that's going to look sharp with that pick guard. The one on it's just white, but I'm thinking that's going to look tight. That's me. You know, I like the Olympic white, the scream color, and with that pick guard, I think it's going to look sharp. I do plan on changing the pickups in the guitar, but I played it earlier today. I don't know. I might not change the pickups on it. I might just put some really nice tuning keys on it. These are like the Clouson style. No, this is square. So I'm thinking, if they are Fender branded, I'm thinking about either putting the tuning keys that have the groove cut in it that you tuck the string in, then it wraps around, or putting the Fender locking tuners on it. I'm really trying, I want to keep the guitar all Fender. So this is a Fender pickguard.
Jupe said it needs a maple fretboard.
You know, Jupe, I agree. And this is the one instrument that when you plug a Tele in with a maple fingerboard, you can hear it. There. I'm not getting into the tone wood debate. I don't know what causes it. I hear it. If I have this exact same model with the rosewood versus the maple one will be more twangy, more punchy. I don't know why. I don't know if Fender does something different in there, but I played both down there. And I like the twang of the maple. I know myself. Guitars with maple fingerboards usually don't stick around. And it has nothing to do with them not playing good. They play great. It's just something under my fingers. I'm a rosewood and ebony person. That's what I like.
Billy said, in his opinion, you'd be better off for the channel, as well as the winner for a giveaway raffle guitar.
I think a raffle guitar would be the way to go. That way, if you really want to enter, you're putting the funds up to do it, and that doesn't put us out as far as now. We don't mind doing the 300 and under guitars. We did a Jet, and that Jet was more than 300. We did a Fender. Bob got the Fender. I think, did Time Surfing Alien get the Jet? Yeah. They were expensive. You know, that's an expensive guitar to give away, but they were nice guitars.
Billy said, purchase a $200 to $500 budget guitar modified for $100 to $200 additionally, and you're done.
I could. Even though I got the Washburn for free, by the time I did the work on the guitar and bought the parts to fix it, I would much rather just buy a guitar for $300. I hate to say that, but I'm a busy person. I really am. When I get home from work, it's difficult, guys. You can ask Linnell. I don't stop, and I'm not a spring chicken anymore. It's really difficult for me to work 14, 15, 16-hour days. It's not, I think it keeps me young doing that in a lot of ways, keeps me active, but in the same token, it's too much. Yeah, so I would rather, instead of, buying a $200 guitar and me spending, 16, 17 hours plus parts, I would just, at that point, I would just rather say, okay, if I got to buy a $400 guitar so I don't have to do this, I would rather do that, if that makes sense. And I think working on guitars, enough people send me instruments to where we can add content to do it. I haven't been posting a lot on that because, I mean, how many different fret leveling videos do I need to make? There's probably 6 or 7 on the channel going over multiple different ways of doing it. If you don't like the one way, watch a different one. I've done a bunch of videos on wiring, putting tuning keys on, sanding the necks, cutting your nut, setting up tremolos. There's a video for it. So I do want to get back to the 101 thing. I want to do a string tree thing. It's just been crazy with work. So, and all that information is already on the channel. You just got to go through the videos and see it. There's a tremendous amount of information here. Like I said, yeah, I can only do so many fret leveling videos. There needs to be some separation there. And I'm sure I'll do another one, but there's no sense in me doing one every 6 months, if that makes sense. When I feel that we get to the point, maybe one a year, one every 2 years, I think that's fine. There's so many different things that we can go over, like adding the capacitor to the ground on your bond tie for your split coil. I think that would be a cool video to do, to kind of show what happens to the guitar pickup, the humbucker, when we add a capacitor there. Instead of running the white and the red together, bonding it together and just sending it to ground, before you send it to ground, put a capacitor between the ground and the wire. It will drastically change the pickup. Just like the little tone circuit thing. Don't have a video on the channel on that. It'd be nice to wire up a guitar and then kind of show why is this different than the way we wired tone knobs today. Don't really have a video for that. So those are the kind of videos I'd like to do next. Something I haven't already done, if that makes sense. It's about product information, you know, whether it's a push-pull, CTS, I've shown those, and the Barnes. I like the feel of the Barnes. But the CTS, the way they've done the board, is more lending for certain types of wiring, if that makes sense. But I like the feel of the push-pull of the Barnes better. I have not tried an alpha push-pull, but I do like the alpha regular pots. So again, that's more about taste. This guitar has alpha pots on it. I don't have an issue with the pots in this guitar. So we are on the high gain channel. I'm liking what this guitar does. It's got an awesome sound. I think I brought the volume up just a little too much on that one. But if we go over, let's try this one. I found that I really like this sound. And I messed that channel up, didn't I? How did I do that? Yeah, I had that issue earlier with that channel. Oh, you know what, guys? When I switched the wing rack around, remember what I was saying earlier? I made some changes. So one of the changes I made in the wing rack, every channel is stereo. So the way I had the Line 6 Stomp, now this is also, I'm not getting the pop and cracking and carrying on that we were getting. I have two outputs, left and right. I come out on 1/4-inch cables to the back of the wing rack, and then I went tip ring sleeve double to a combiner or tip ring on input for each cable. Then it combines, it goes to tip ring sleeve. And I plugged that, so now we're on one channel of the wing rack, but it's still stereo. But it actually goes into one channel. So that's another thing that I did. But when I did that, let me see if I can get this pulled up. So I'm gonna make that my bass line. Okay, give me 1 second, guys. Okay, when I did that, I noticed, like this was the setting, okay? Before, all this changes. Why did it change the mix? and make everything sound funny. Just doing that. Does that kind of make sense? So now I have to go back through and I have to modify all my settings because of the way it's in the wing rack now. So that made hardly any change. Levels all the way up. Let me see where are we having a problem? Channel volume. Master. That's why I was saying every little thing we do changes our signal. And this was working this morning when I was playing. So just changing how it went into the wing rack made all those differences. Now let's see what kind of volume we have. It's still a little low. Let me turn it up just a little bit more. Let me look at the EQ output. Now changing this output will affect how it hits the front of the amp. But we'll try it right there. It's still got too much stuff on it. The guitar sounds like it has a blanket over it. Let's take some of this feedback out. Sync note scale. That's getting better. Took a little bit too much out that time, didn't it? There we go. Now let me go into this setting, drop the mix a little bit. Now bringing that mix out really dropped our signal. Boy, that really killed it, didn't it? I think we're going to leave it right there. Let me check the setting. I think it's got too much stuff on it. Yeah, it's got too much. Let's take, let's go back to this window.
That was there said sounds kind of robotic now.
Yeah, it sounds, it doesn't sound healthy. I'm actually going to take this out. See how that affected the sound? Yeah, see, we just lost all of our output by doing that. And this one's completely dead. Let's just put that one up there. See, it's got a lot of something in it. Let's just try a different delay. Something, you guys have a preference on this? Multi-pass. Let's just try a simple delay. Whoa, there we go.
So it sounds like your latency is off.
Yeah. Trails off. Yeah, that one's bad. Let's try a dual delay.
There goes my hearing.
That every little thing, guys. That's what I was saying. When you click on delay, here's all the different delays. And I did find tape, but they've made changes. Now it says transistor tape. It used to say tape delay. So that's something that in the update they did change. See, it's a scale. Let's turn the scale back. All the settings I've noticed on this thing are just crazy. They've got so much effect. In this mix, it doesn't work like a wet dry mix, because when I cut this back, see, it has taken all the signal out. You know, it's funny how relearning stuff, it works completely different. And I've sat down a couple times with it, and I'll get it. Like I said, I never had the ability to go in and edit things like this on the Line 6, but I've noticed that the mix doesn't work like a wet dry mix. So I'm going to have to get on the forums and see, what is it actually blending? Because when you cut it all the way back, it's cutting the other signal too. So any help you guys can give me that program the Line 6 Stomp, that would be, that would be great. And this is my high gain sound. Now see, I didn't save So that is the issue that I'm having. I got to change the mix back. Take the mix back on this too a little bit. Again, it just sounds like there's a blanket over it.
Is your action a little bit higher than normal?
The action on this guitar is pretty good. It's low. Just sometimes I have off nights and I don't play as well.
Kurt said, "You will learn, Grasshopper. You will learn."
Yes, Grasshopper. You just got to sit and play with it. That's not horrible. Like I said, you know, just learning and playing, guys. But this guitar plays effortlessly. You know, it is a Telecaster. It's got stock pickups in it, but I like it. That right there is me hanging up the pick as I'm playing. See, that sounds like a treble issue to me, like presence.
Thin and tinny.
It's what?
Thin and tinny.
Thin and tinny. I don't know. Everything about it just sounds like there's a blanket over it. I'm not. A lot of that could be the amplifier that I've chosen.
You got a large super chat from Jupe.
Ooh, I gotta go back to the main channel. Holy mackerel, Jupe! What? I think I said this once before, Jupe. We gotta freaking talk. Yeah, Jupe. That's what it's about. If you guys don't get it, it's about just being a musician. I'm struggling just like everybody else. I mean, if someone's going to sit and tell me, everything I ever bought, when I brought it back from the music store, I brought it home, I plugged it in, and it worked flawlessly. And I didn't read the manual, and I just plugged it in, I knew everything about it, and when I touched it, the angels sung and the stars aligned. That's complete bullshit. When we buy stuff, we depend on other people to say, yeah, I've made this work. I like this sound. Or you heard someone else use it, And then you get it and it's kind of like, how come I can't get mine to do that?
Steve said, what delay are you using?
All the delays are in the line 6. And again, I took the wing stuff out, and it just sounds like there's a blanket over it. And I know it can sound good, so I don't want to cheat and go, okay, I'm going to take the reverb and this out and apply it in the wing. I want to get better at figuring out how to make that unit sound more natural. But when I'm doing it, everything I do, it just sounds like there's a blanket over it. It just doesn't sound lively. It just sounds, there's no better way of describing it. It just sounds like there's a blanket over the cabinet. And I'm not the only one, because someone sent me, I don't know if it was Steve that sent me some links. Does it sound like a blanket over your cabinet? It said to change the positioning of certain things. So evidently I'm not the only one that's bought a Line 6 Stomp and had this issue in programming it, or there wouldn't be so much content out of there, on the web and stuff on how to make it not sound like there's a blanket or muffled or distant sounding. I just need to do more reading and see what they're doing to work around it. A lot of it, that's all that it is, just learning how to work around something. And I just need to learn how to work around it. This is as basic as it can get. I have Linnell's microphone in the wing, my microphone on the wing, one channel from the Line 6 Stomp in the wing. And as far as inputs, that's it.
I'm in the wing. Woot.
There's 3 inputs. So none of the mics back here are hooked up. My secondary mic's not hooked up. We are as basic gets tonight. And I also did some rerouting, like I said, with the power lines. And as of right now, I have not heard that. So I'm gonna say that I have dirty power coming into my home. Because before I did not have the wing rack plugged into my line conditioner. So now it is actually in my voltage line conditioner. And it's keeping the voltage right at 115, and it's a filter. It takes out noise and static in the electrical. And as of right now, unless someone else has heard it, I haven't heard it click or carry on yet. So maybe I just got crappy power here. Like Jupe says, it's us being us.
Steve said, what specific delay? He's trying to replicate your issue on his.
I am gonna pull it up so you can see it.
And Kurt asked about the dirty power.
1 second, Kurt. Okay, here are my settings, and you can screenshot each one there for a second, Kurt. Steve, here's the first one that I'm using. So this is auto swell. Okay, and these are the settings on the very first one. Next effect, this is acting as a boost pedal. This is the scream. It's an Ibanez 808. Gain, tone, level. Next effect, it's a red squeeze. So this is a sensitivity thing. And this is factory setup. I didn't play with this at all. Those are the settings. Amplifier. This is a solo lead crunch. So I'm assuming that's supposed to be like a Sedano. And this is a factory. This is what it should come up. When you click on it, this should be the exact same settings, but here are the numbers so you can see it. And then here I have it split with delay, mod, then EQ. The delay settings, this particular delay, we changed it to a symbol delay. So those are the settings. And then that goes back into the main. Now the upper section, this is a 4-voice chorus. Very little in the mix. Level, rate, depth, cut. Now this is just number of voices, so you could change the voices. very little rate, below half on the depth. And then here's the EQ. So you can see we're cutting the highs out. And it could be something as simple as this. Maybe I need to brighten it up to get rid of the blankety sound. There's just so much.
Steve,
I would really like to kind of get rid of this or this.
Steve said, why split the delay?
It sounds, you'll notice on the line 6, if you have one, move this up here, and the delay will influence the chorus. The chorus won't respond the same. If you look at like a lot of high-end rigs, they have a dry signal going to each effects and then bring it in. So the delay, if you put here, like let's say I drag this delay and I put it right there, it completely changes the sound of this effects chain. If I take the mod and I do this, okay, it's the exact opposite. Believe it or not, you'd think, well, it's going to sound the same. It's not, because now the delay is influencing this EQ. So before we had this, okay, so the chorus goes into the EQ, and that affects the EQ, and the delay is not altered by the EQ.
Insert the delay back in before the EQ.
Here, and then split the like that. You can do that too. But just do it. Let's say we put this here. We put the chorus here. You're going to get a certain sound. Get a sound that you like. Now do this. Switch it. Now the sound that you like so much will be completely different.
Have you listened to the previous stream and heard this delay problem?
No, because I changed how I had it set up, because I tried to simplify everything. So I didn't want to keep anything in the wing. It's a multi-effects processor. I should be able to go right into the wing. So I want to learn how to get the sound out of this. On the last stream, what I was doing is I wasn't using I was using the chorus, but I was letting the wing rack do my time-based effects, reverb and delay. That's how come it didn't have the blanket sound. So now all I'm using is the wing, and I'm getting that blanket sound. So it's capable of it. I know it's capable of it. I just need to learn how to and there's so many different effects. Some things play well with other things. So I just need to get on a line 6. I don't need to reinvent the wheel. There's 50,000 other people that use this thing that have come up with good sounds. I just need to get on one of the line 6 forums and start looking. Okay, a lot of these guys drop files in there, and I can just pick the file up and stick it in there. Hey, I like that one. All right, that's probably what I should do instead of. But it's also nice to kind of tool and play with it, so you get an idea on how to fix things and mod it and get it to sound like you want it to sound.
Steve said, or maybe try putting the EQ before the delay in mod.
Every little change, man, will change. Like I said, if you get the sound that you like, let's say you got the EQ before the delay, set it up to where you're like, man, that's it. And then just flip-flop something. Maybe even take your boost and your amp and flip-flop those. Put the boost, the pedal afterwards. That I know that sounds kooky, but you'll hear a difference. Or flip-flop, let's say you're using a delay and a reverb. Put your reverb before the delay. See with that, and then flip it. It really does make a difference. But with the line 6 stomp, if I go back to here, if I go back to the line 6 stomp, okay. The issue that you have with the line 6, you can only break this one time. Okay. So the delay and the chorus are getting a dry feed out of the back of the amp. I can't sit there and now add a reverb and drop, let's pretend this is the reverb. I can't drop it down here to a third. It doesn't have the processing power to do that. So you can only split the signal once. And that does affect it. you can get on the forums. I can't remember if people claim the reverb should go before your modulation or after your modulation effects. I'm sure that's going to be like picking pickups. It's going to be, everyone's going to have a different opinion on that. But it's going to change the way whatever is before it or after it. The reverb's in front of it, it's going to affect the signal going into either the chorus or the delay or whatever it is. It's going to change what that effect sees. So it does make a huge difference. I sat here and played around just flipping these, even doing this. Yeah, it shouldn't be a difference. This is still going to here, but it'll sound different. If I take this and I move it to here, this one will move to here. This will make it sound different. I don't ask me why, because if I look at the signal path here, it comes, it splits, it goes into this and then in. It comes straight into here and in. What difference does it make if I put this here? It's still coming down and going right into it, but it does make a difference. And that I don't get. That's something, if someone knows why that would be, my little squirrel brain's just saying it's a modeling error, because it's still direct path. It shouldn't matter if I put this here and the delay comes forward, because these two aren't being affected by placement, I guess. But it is, because it does make a difference. I just don't understand why. I didn't try this, but if I put that there, now the delay kicks over here. Would that make a difference? It probably would, because moving this to here or this to here makes a difference. So it would probably make a difference if I slid this all the way over like that. And then, which I'm not really understanding why. I'm learning. I've had that darn thing for probably 3 years. And the only time I use it is when I go on vacation. I'll put my headphones on it. And like Kurt said, it's probably the best piece of equipment I have for what I'm doing here, streaming. I just need to learn it. I think this setup that I have right here, I got effects in the wing, I got my whole mixing console, and literally everything in my rack now is turned off. This 1.4U unit has replaced my whole mixing rack, and that's scary. It's scary cool. After taxes, it was almost $2,000. But if I look at how much money I have over here, the WACKY, when I bought it, was $1,400. The Alesis 32 band Spectrum Analyzer was $600 or $700. Each Digitech Studio was $500. The Alesis Mini Verb was probably $350. I have 4 tube mic preamps. I think they were, I don't know, $200, $250 a piece. I have 4 DBX 266s. They were at least $300 a piece. Don't need any of it, because every channel on the wing has a compressor. Every channel in the wing has a limiter. And I can set it different for every channel. So there's 48 channels. I have 48 compressors, 48 limiters, 48 reverbs, 48 delays, individual racks. So it would take up the whole wall on rack units. It's crazy, and they crammed all that in a 4U thing. It's crazy. It's crazy. You can't even get your head around it. At least I can't. When I look at it and I look at the routing page, I'm still trying to understand. I'm used to going out and then back into the board, going to my effects and then come back in on a separate channel and then blend, send that to a subgroup. But it's cable management. I'm coming out here, I'm going back there, and a couple buttons on the surface of the mixing console.
Steve put what he was trying to say in general on Discord.
All right, let me close this window. I do not have Discord open. In general. Okay, let me open this up. So he's got effects loop, EQ, delay, then verb. Your delay is still influencing your reverb. So on the output of the delay, it needs to come back into your main signal mix behind the reverb. So doing what you did here in my little squirrel brain makes no difference. Now you do get a direct feed to the reverb, and then I guess the mix on the delay, maybe that's what I'm doing wrong, because now the mix would be how much signal comes back into here because you're still getting the dry. But how I see that working better is pulling the input back past the reverb back into the main left right. That way I can change the amount of effect. The only difference between what I'm saying is that none of my delay mix would be going into the reverb, if that makes sense, like going right here. But doing it this way, maybe that's why the mix function works in the line 6, because as you slide that back and forth, it's how much is going back into here. Am I not thinking that right, Steve? If that comes back into the reverb, and you slide the mix control back, well, that would just be the same as level. I'm not seeing it.
He said check the new screenshot.
Okay, check the new screenshot. Yeah, to me, that makes more sense, because now you have a signal going to the reverb and the delay, and they're being merged in afterwards. Okay, so the reverb seeing a dry signal, whatever's in front, whether it's just the amp in your EQ, so is the delay. So the delay isn't going to be influenced by the reverb, and the reverb isn't going to be influenced by the delay. You get them the way you want them, and then you put them back together. People did this all the time, professional-wise. They would have this, and they branch it down again. So you'd have your reverb, your delay, your chorus, all on separate inputs would be dry. And then they would blend all those signals back together on the backside. The guy from, what's the gentleman from the pedal show? You guys know who I'm talking about? He invented that board. The reason that board works so well, that's what he's doing. Because when you run your signal chain through this pedal, and then it alters the sound, then it goes into this pedal, then you've got another altered, and it just compounds. So what his board does is the guitar comes in, and if, let's say you got 5 different pedals active, it splits it 5 ways, goes to those pedals, then back into the main, and then you can adjust how much of that effect is applied to that signal. That's why everything that they plug into that thing, it just sounds like you, that pedal, and the amp, because that's what it's doing. It's getting a direct guitar signal to each individual pedal. How much of that signal goes back into the main is the mix in that thing that he created. So he's basically created a device that turns your pedals into a signal processor, because you can hit another button and it'll automatically change the routing. Let's say you want to go into the chorus and then go into the reverb. You want it to do it. Well, you can tell it, I want to go into the chorus, it goes back into the box, out to the reverb, and then to the main. The way he talks, it's unlimited on how you can route the signal path in that thing. But I think it's like $1,200, and there's no effects. So it's $1,200 for that thing, plus now you have to buy all the pedals to propagate it. So like me, I'd want a Strymon Big Sky. Well, that's $400. Let's say you put a Rule King tube pedal on there. That's what I would, just saying what I would do. Get a Rule King, you know, put that on there with a Strymon Big Sky. I would probably do an MXR phaser, because that's probably, in my opinion, one of the better ones. I mean, it's MXR. Something like that. maybe an H90 over here. Yeah, you're into a lot of money. You're going to be well past the price of a fractal rack mount processor. I think his pedal thing's $1,200. By the time you get a Strymon, it's $400. You can figure $350 per pedal for quality pedals. Now I know you guys, well, I'm not going to ever spend that much. There's a difference. Trust me. The headroom, the quality, there is a difference. There's a big difference in effects, guys. There really is. When you spend money for Strymon makes good stuff. There's other companies that make good stuff too, but the Strymon reverbs and delays, they're really good. Like Eventide. The Eventide H9 or H90, that's a solid unit, but it's $600 or $700 new for just your stomp pedal. But it's a solid unit. So when you start putting nice high quality components in there, you're going to be past the fractal. And the fractal does all that stuff extremely well. Take out the amp modeling, okay? Because we're not using it for amp modeling. They're using that thing in, let's say, a Princeton or a Blues Junior or a Roland. They have an amplifier, and that's their pedal assembly. They're doing the 4-wire method where it comes in an effects loop so they can change what goes into the front of the amp versus the effects loop. They're doing all that. At that point, you can just get the fractal.
Kurt says he loves the Lexicon reverbs.
Yeah, Lexicon, awesome stuff. And they made some pedal units too, but they're really expensive. I had a Lexicon PCM 90. I think it was a PCM 90. I don't have it anymore. I sold that unit, and I paid stupid money for it, and that was considered a budget unit. Back when I was playing out, a high quality Lexicon was $2,000 for a rack mount Lexicon unit. It was the same with Eventide. They were $2,000 or $3,000 for a 1U unit. That was just, but it was next level stuff. When I would go to Shelley Acres and we were playing, and these guys had these fake Marshalls, and then behind the fake Marshall amps or the high watts, they had a VHT purple power amp, sometimes an ADA preamp, and they'd have an Eventide Lexicon. They'd have either the BBE sonic maximizer or the Ariel. I forget. I think it was Ariel International. It was an Ariel exciter. It's basically the same thing. Look, there was different versions of it.
Critic says, should I buy a New X Academy stomp?
New X. If it has the features that you want and you can grow with it, I think all these new ones, man, they're all pretty good. You just got to learn how to program them. There's going to be people that poo-poo the HX STOMP. And there's going to be other people that just going to say it's the greatest thing since sliced bread. I know it's capable of good sounds. I hear people get out of it. Just like the New X stuff. I can get on YouTube and I can hear people get good sounds out of the nuance. New X stuff. Also hear good things out of that Boss pedal board. Was it the GTX 200 or whatever that thing is? Pedal board? They're not really super expensive. I hear good things out of those. I hear good things about the Head Rush. I think Devastator got a used Head Rush at a really stupid good deal. You can ask him what he thinks of his Head Rush. There's so many options. You can get into option Polaris or whatever that word. I can't speak tonight. Don't look at it too much, if that makes sense. Pick something that you think is user friendly to you. If you're used to the New X architecture, then go that way. If you're more used to the Boss type stuff, then go with the Boss. That's more what it's about. Like me, I struggle a lot with the Wing. This is a completely new architecture for me. I'm not used to it. I'm used to the much older school type stuff.
Devastator said he likes his Flex Prime, but he bought it new.
Yeah. That's what you need to do is find a good music store that has a nice pedal board set up, that has that new X set up, that'll have a Line 6 stomp set up, might have a head rush set up, might have that new Black Star unit, that IDX. Been hearing great things about the IDX stomp. Don't know, haven't ever plugged into one, but I hear good things about the IDX stomp from Black Star. I got a bad taste in my mouth from Black Star because I paid $900 for an amp that only worked 1 year. And that's one product though. I'm not gonna say all Black Stars suck. I know people have Black Stars and they've had good luck with them. I got a poopy one. But I hear the IDX pedal board, and I don't think that one's too expensive. So you might want to look into that one. I could be wrong. I want to say that was $350 for the IDX. Does anyone know what the new IDX floor stomp from Black Star cost? I'm going to look it up real quick. There's so many out there. Black Star.
Doesn't the Guitar Center that we go to have a pedal demo station?
Yes, they do. So the small, the Black Star, here, let me.
Because Devastator said the Guitar Center that they went to last weekend had a pedal demo station.
Yeah. They need something like that. When you're going in and let's say this IDX is $269, it's kind of hard to sell something unless you plug into it and hear it, unless you've gotten on YouTube. So this one I hear good things about. This one doesn't have the Y in it, but it's $269. Okay, and it's still got some controlled stuff. Here's the floor 2. This one's $319. Okay, and they got the floor 3, which is the big one, for $399. So don't count these out. I've been hearing really good things about them.
Kurt wants to know what model is your Black Star.
It's an HT20.
So he can research your problem with it.
Yep, it's an HD20, and they probably still make it. Let me see if they still make it. HT20. Yep, this is the one I have. Mine's an MK2, though, I think. And mine was in the limited edition green.
I'm assuming this is for the Black Star IDX. Does it have IR?
I'm pretty sure the IDX is all in one. I'm sure that it has our preloaded IRs. Let's click on it and see what it says. IDX floor, USB, architectural software, ability to store 99 presets and instant call, MIDI input, stereo balancing, cab rig outs, available tonal powerhouse. It has their typical ISF circuit blend. I actually thought that's pretty cool. I'm sure that it has IRs that you can load and put in it and pick. USB. I'm not the best at it. If you type in this in YouTube, I guarantee you someone has a full rundown with everything. See, input to amp. It's USB right here. Line out phones. So there's going to be IRs here because it has a direct out. So multi-board effects pedal for electric, acoustic, and bass guitar. Advanced DSP modeling. 12 guitar amp models comprising classic Black Star and Hampton tones. So it's got the amp models there. 3 bass amp models. Black Star's patented ISF, which I think is cool. Power valve response toggle switches. You could switch it between 6L6, EL84, or EL34. 35 premium effects. Direct. Yeah, it's got 35 different effects. exclusive in-room technology. Feel the real world of the amp. Speaker simulation, yes. So it has your built-in hours right there. I hear good things about this little guy. You know, this would probably be, for me, probably more user-friendly for me, because I like having a knob. So that's kind of set up like an amp at the top, but also has the USB where I can go in and do like the line 6. Remember why I liked the Yamaha so much? I could just reach over and turn a knob. I didn't have to go to the computer and touch something. So that's kind of like something in between. I think I would probably like that just for that reason. It's got a knob. I can go over and turn it. But you're still going to need the computer to get in there and adjust all the different effects and stuff like that. Yeah, just you know, get on YouTube. Look at the things that you think that you're going to want to go look and check out, and then go to a store that'll allow you to plug it in and play it. And keep in mind, the amp that you plug it in does influence the sound. So if you plug it in, you can't get any good sounds out of it, unplug it and plug it into a different amp. You might find that it's just not playing well with that particular amp. And that'll also come into play with your amp, the amp that you plug it in. If you plug it into the one at the store and it sounds awesome and you bring it home, you may have to do some creative changing to get it to work well with your amp. With that, you know, if you can, do like what I'm doing. I'm going USB right to the interface. So there is no amp. Everything that I've played tonight, there's no amplifier. There's no speakers, there's no nothing. So just come right out of the USB and use an IR. You know, right to your headset, or Reaper, or anything else that you're doing on your computer. So if that's what you plan on doing, it's in there. It's $269. Another good one is the Vailton GP200. I hear good things about the GP200. Have I tested one? No. That's why I'm saying you need to go and kind of tinker with them. I think they're all going to be decent. I mean, you're looking at everything that we've mentioned is under $300. So we're talking a multi-effects processor with IRs for under $300. That's crazy cheap. I mean, that's cheap. So yeah, look at it that way. This line 6 Stomp, when I got it, it was on sale for $550. I think they're like $650 now, $700. That's expensive, especially for something that's been out for as long as the HX STOMP's been out. That's it. That's a lot of money. The Cortex unit, which everyone knows is awesome. I don't know how much I think the cheapest Cortex is almost $1,000 now. I don't know what the Nano cost. That's a solid unit, but again, that's going to be expensive. So it depends on how much you want to spend. Okay, I think we're going to wrap it up for tonight. The Boss GTX one is decent. The Vailton, because of the firmware upgrade, bricked my GP200.
Yeah, apparently all Vailton products can't be upgraded now.
Really? I did not know that. Thank you so much, Annoying Credit, for the tip. I wonder what that's about. That there's something funny going on with that.
And Kurt is thinking about the Helix Rack Pro now that the prices are dropping.
Yes, the prices have dropped, and you know, if you sit and listen to them, I don't hear any difference between the old Helix and the new Stadium. The Rack Pro would probably be something that I would be interested in too.
Trucker Bob has the Tonex. It's kind of similar to the Black Star.
Yeah, I hear there's another one, Tonex. I hear good things about the Tonex. You know, if you want like a little compact travel rig, okay, I think the best thing you could do be a Roll King, Royalist tube pedal, okay? Buy that. Do a VP4 multi-effects processor, and then do the Seymour Duncan Class D power amp. There you go. There's your rig. And it would be a stupid good rig. And you could fit it all in your backpack, except your speaker cabinet. But think about it. You've got your royalist, your tube preamp, it's pedal board form. You got a fractal VP4, awesome effects there. And then you've got that little 100-watt Class D Seymour Duncan power amp. All fits in a little section this big. I mean, there's so many ways you can do it nowadays. You wouldn't even need, technically, the Seymour Duncan unit. You could come right out of that to, if you look right there, that's a pulse pedal. So you could go from the royalist to the VP4 to the pulse pedal right into a powered PA cabinet. There's your guitar rig. So you can also think of it that way. Maybe you've got an amp now and you're just wanting to change. Maybe get a digital processor like a VP4, something that's next level, quality effects. Get that hammered out. Then get like a royalist, a nice tube preamplifier that's pedal form. Check your amplifier that you have now. If it has an effects loop, come out of your royalist to the VP4, right into the return of your guitar amp. That means it's just going into the power amp. Now that's your amplifier. When you get the money to either go powered PA speaker or a different Class D amp with an enclosure, you're going to grow as you buy. Try to pick stuff that you can grow into, not something that you're going to buy to get you by until you get something else. Stop doing that because you'll never get there. You're always buying something that'll get you by. Save your money, buy one nice piece to start your rig, your nice rig. And make sure and look, how can I make this work with what I have, but also move forward to where I can add to it and have a better rig. That way you're not wasting dollars. And we can waste dollars really quick, guys. You really can. It happens quick. So before you go out and buy a bunch of different Stomp pedals and you have $500 or $600 in Stomp pedals, just get a VP4. Get on Reverb. Someone's got a VP4 for sale right now for $600. I guarantee it. There's one of them out there for $600, $700, and that's a quality multi-effect Stomp pedal. It's not amp modeling. It's just going to be some effects, but it's nice effects. Now worry about whether you want to go combo amp. Then that's all you need. To get yourself a VP4 and a combo amp, and maybe have your boost pedal and your EQ pedal between your guitar and your combo amp. Come out of your effects loop to the VP4 on your little combo amp, and you've got it. That's a solid way of setting up a nice amplifier. It really is. If you're playing out, that's a solid amplifier. There's nothing wrong with that, and it's going to sound good. All right, guys, I want to thank everyone that gave a super chat. Mr. Jupe, like I said, we got to talk. That's crazy. Thank you so much. Everyone that come out, it means a lot when I see people return to the channel. That means that we're doing something right, that you guys come here. It's relax time. It's Saturday night. It's time for us to talk gear. And I think we've accomplished that, guys. We've got a heck of a group of people here that are like-minded, okay, that have different points of views.
Vox said, Gretchy says hi. He's home from work.
Oh, that's cool. Home from work. I can't do night shift. I have a hard enough time doing day shift. I use old Digitech RP360 for the road and in the truck. It's old school, but has everything, drums, bass, simulator. Yeah. I still use my old stuff. We can repurpose it. I wish I still had my RX-15 Yamaha drum machine. I love that thing. I love that drum machine. That was an awesome drum machine. It was a really cool drum machine. It sounded kind of fake and artificial, but it had many outs, so I could use that to trigger the sounds in my Akai. But I liked programming the RX-15. it's just one of those things. Something better come along. I think I bought the Roland 505 or 585 or something like that, and I sold the RX 15, and I ended up not liking the program on the Roland. It sounded better, but I didn't like programming it. All right, guys, again, I want to thank everyone for coming in. If you haven't already, please go down, hit the thumbs up button, and if you haven't, please subscribe. We're trying to grow the channel. And if you come during the live and you're here when we're live, there's no commercials. But once the chat comes up, you could get commercials. I'm pretty bad at going back and monetizing the videos, but I try to monetize it once the live chat comes up and everyone can track with your all's conversation and what I'm talking about and the interaction between us. So once that comes up, I usually hit monetize, so there will be commercials. If you don't like the commercials, we do this every Thursday and every Saturday at 8. Now, today we're a little late, about 8:20, but come hang out with us live if you're watching the replay. Come in, chat with the people. That's what it's about. That's where it becomes interactive. All right, guys, we're going to do our 5-minute ending window, and hopefully I'll talk to some of you guys on Discord. Please go to Discord and tell me if the stream worked better tonight. I don't think I heard that many pops and cracks. I think a lot of it was a voltage issue, and maybe possible because, like I said, I got a separated ground thing in that as well. So fingers crossed. This is our first stream. Sole wing rack. Everything was done by the wing rack. And a very simple line 6 stomp. Everything that you heard tonight was just those 2 pieces of gear. That's crazy. And 2 microphones. One Linnell has and this one. That's crazy efficient. If you guys have pointers, I'm learning. I'm all about ears. Please go over to Discord or leave me some comments down below. That does help YouTube. So if you guys are watching now, please click out at the end and come back. And you can put the middle finger up. You can say it sucks. You can do anything you want. Every comment, whether it's thumbs up or thumbs down, helps YouTube. So I'm pretty thick-skinned. Actually, I'm not thick-skinned. So comments do hurt. But that's what it's about. I need to hear your all's feedback. It's what makes me better. All right, guys, 5-minute ending window. And I'll see everyone. We'll do a stream before Thursday night. So I don't know what night that'll be, guys. But again, thank you, especially if you gave a super chat. And let's talk about doing the drawing for the guitar, for the buy-in on the more expensive instrument. We're still going to do the free ones. But if you guys want to do a higher-end guitar and do a buy-in on it, we're 100% open for that. And I think Devastator said that he wanted Steve to be the head cook and bottle washer over that. And if Steve is okay with running that part in the Discord server for the raffle guitar, I'm going to leave it up to you guys and I'll just facilitate it if that makes sense. That way it's up to you guys on the guitar, the amount, and the buy-in amount, if that makes sense. All right, guys, thank you so much, and I'll see y'all sometime before Thursday night. I'm always confused on which one it is. I'm pretty sure it's this one. 5-minute ending window. Everyone have a blessed night, and thank you so much for clicking on the video. I can't do it without your all's comments and input. Thanks, guys.